Florida's haunted prehistoric spring. Hidden beneath the rolling hills of north-central Florida lies a place unlike anywhere else on Earth. From above, it appears to be nothing more than a small hole in the ground. But descend the ancient staircase carved into limestone, and another world reveals itself. A world of crystal clear water, towering rock formations, ancient fossils, and stories that refuse to die. For thousands of years, people have whispered about this mysterious underground spring. Early settlers believed the steam rising from its entrance looked like smoke escaping from the gates of hell. Native American legends speak of sacred waters where spirits crossed between worlds. Modern divers tell stories of strange lights, disembodied voices, and the unsettling feeling that something watches from the darkness beyond the sunlight. Is Devil's Den simply one of Florida's most beautiful geological wonders? Or has something ancient remained hidden beneath its waters for thousands of years? Tonight, we descend into one of America's most mysterious underwater caves. Welcome to Devil's Den, a window into prehistory, long before Florida became a vacation paradise, before highways, before cities, before humans ever set foot on the peninsula. Rainwater slowly dissolved layers of soft limestone beneath the earth. Over hundreds of thousands of years, underground rivers carved enormous chambers through the rock. Eventually, part of the cave's ceiling collapsed. The result was a breathtaking natural skylight that still illuminates the cavern today. This geological process created what scientists call a karst window, a rare opening into an underground spring system. The water emerging from Devil's Den has traveled for decades through Florida's limestone aquifer before reaching the surface. Filtered naturally through layers of rock, the spring remains astonishingly clear. Visibility often exceeds 100 feet. Every detail of the cave floor appears frozen in time. The water maintains a constant temperature of approximately 72 degrees Fahrenheit throughout the year, cool in summer, warm in winter. It is during those cold winter mornings that the legend truly began. As warm spring water met freezing air, thick clouds of steam drifted from the opening above. To early settlers unfamiliar with geology, it looked as though smoke was pouring from deep beneath the earth. Many believed they had discovered a doorway into the underworld. They named it Devil's Den. The eerie name has survived for generations, but the spring itself is far older than its haunting reputation. Evidence suggests animals visited these waters during the Ice Age. Fossils discovered inside the cave include extinct species that vanished more than 10,000 years ago. Giant ground sloths, saber-toothed cats, ancient horses, mastodons. Even the remains of prehistoric humans have reportedly been recovered from the surrounding region, making Devil's Den an important archaeological site. The cave is more than a tourist attraction. It is a portal into Earth's distant past. The sacred waters. Long before European explorers arrived, Florida's freshwater springs held deep spiritual meaning for indigenous peoples, including the Timucua and other native communities who lived throughout the region. While there is no historical evidence that Devil's Den itself was universally regarded as a haunted site, springs across Florida were often viewed as places of life, renewal, and spiritual significance. Fresh water meant survival. The constant flow from underground seemed almost supernatural. Some oral traditions describe springs as places where the physical and spiritual worlds felt closer together. In the stillness of dawn, when mist rose from the warm water, it was easy to understand why. Imagine standing near the opening centuries ago. No artificial lights, no roads, only birdsong echoing through ancient forests. The sound of dripping water and thick white vapor slowly climbing into the morning sky. To those who witnessed it, the place must have felt alive. Over time, stories evolved. Some spoke of guardian spirits protecting the spring. Others warned against venturing too deeply into places where sunlight could no longer reach. As generations passed, these spiritual traditions blended with later folklore. By the 19th century, settlers had added their own interpretations. The steam became the breath of demons, the cave became cursed ground, and every unexplained sound strengthened the legend. Today, visitors occasionally report strange experiences. Some describe hearing whispers echo through the cavern despite being alone. Others claim they briefly saw figures standing along the rocky ledges, only for them to disappear moments later. Skeptics point to natural explanations. The cave's acoustics can distort voices in surprising ways. Sunlight entering through the collapsed ceiling reflects off rippling water, creating moving shadows that resemble human forms. Even slight temperature differences can produce drifting mist that changes shape before your eyes. In a place where light, water, and stone interact so dramatically, the mind can easily fill in the gaps. Yet stories persist. Perhaps because Devil's Den possesses something increasingly rare in the modern world: true mystery. As the last rays of sunlight fade from the cave each evening, darkness slowly consumes the limestone walls. The brilliant blue water becomes an endless black mirror, and somewhere beyond the illuminated opening, the underwater passages disappear into silence. It is there, where curiosity becomes caution, because beneath the beauty of Devil's Den lies an underwater world that has challenged explorers for generations. And while thousands safely snorkel and dive here each year under controlled conditions, venturing beyond the open cavern into cave environments without specialized training can be fatal. Descending into the unknown. At first glance, Devil's Den appears peaceful. A natural cathedral carved by water and time. Sunlight pours through the opening above, creating beams that dance across the crystal surface. Visitors float effortlessly through the spring, surrounded by ancient limestone walls and water so clear it seems almost unreal. But below the surface, the illusion changes. The deeper you descend, the quieter the world becomes. The sounds of the outside disappear. Birds vanish, wind disappears, human voices become distant echoes. All that remains is the slow rhythm of your own breathing. For trained open water scuba divers, Devil's Den offers a rare opportunity to explore a prehistoric underground environment. The main cavern extends downward approximately 54 feet, with underwater rock formations shaped over countless centuries. Massive limestone walls rise around the diver. Passages open into shadows. Dark spaces suggest hidden worlds beyond what the human eye can see. This is the attraction and the danger of Florida's underwater caves. They create the feeling of exploration, the feeling that something incredible may be waiting just beyond the next turn. But caves are not like ordinary underwater environments. A lake or ocean allows a diver to swim upward toward the surface. A cave does not. Above a cave, a diver may be hundreds of feet from daylight, surrounded by solid rock. A single mistake can turn a beautiful adventure into a life-threatening emergency. This is why trained cave divers follow strict rules. They use specialized equipment. They carry multiple lights. They follow permanent guidelines, and they never enter unknown passages without proper certification. The beauty of these caves hides their unforgiving nature. The legend of the lost diver. Among the stories connected to Devil's Den is a legend that has grown over time, a tale of a diver who entered the darkness beneath the spring and never returned. The details of this story vary depending on who tells it. Some describe an explorer who disappeared while searching for hidden chambers. Others claim the diver's spirit remains trapped within the underground passages. Visitors have reported seeing unusual flashes of light deep underwater, despite no other divers being nearby. Some believe these mysterious lights belong to the missing explorer, forever searching for a way out. But separating fact from folklore is difficult. Like many places with a long history, Devil's Den has collected stories from generations of visitors. Some are based on real events, others grow larger with each retelling. What is certain is that Florida's cave systems have claimed the lives of experienced divers. The danger is not supernatural. The danger is real. A wrong turn, equipment failure, poor visibility, panic. A cave can become a maze without warning. Florida's underwater world contains some of the most complex cave networks on Earth. Many divers are drawn to them because of their beauty and mystery. But the same qualities that make these caves fascinating also make them dangerous. The darkness creates an environment where imagination becomes powerful. A shadow in the distance becomes a figure. A distant sound becomes a voice. A flickering reflection becomes a warning. And in a place like Devil's Den, where ancient stone surrounds you in every direction, it is easy to understand why legends survive. Florida's underwater hauntings. Devil's Den is only one chapter in Florida's mysterious underground story. Across the state, hundreds of springs and sinkholes connect to a massive network of underwater caves. These hidden rivers flow beneath the surface, creating some of the most spectacular and dangerous diving locations in the world. Among them are several sites surrounded by their own dark reputations. One of the most infamous is Eagle's Nest Sink in Central Florida. Often called the Mount Everest of cave diving, Eagle's Nest contains enormous underwater chambers that descend more than 300 feet. In 2010, experienced cave diver Ben McDaniel entered the cave and disappeared. Despite extensive searches by professional divers, his remains were never recovered. The mystery surrounding his disappearance transformed Eagle's Nest into one of Florida's most haunting dive locations. Some divers have reported seeing strange lights far inside the cave system. Others describe an unsettling feeling of being watched in the darkness. Then there is Hole in the Wall Cave at Merritt's Mill Pond, near Marianna, Florida. The area is famous for its incredibly clear blue water and complex underwater passages. But behind the beauty is a challenging environment filled with narrow tunnels and confusing pathways. Only highly trained cave divers should attempt these systems. Further south, near Brooksville, lies Depelier Sink No. 2. This remote underwater cave reaches depths approaching 360 feet, making it one of the deepest known underwater cave sites in the continental United States. The isolation alone creates an intimidating atmosphere. Far from roads and civilization, surrounded by a thick forest, the entrance feels like a gateway into another world. These places reveal a truth about Florida that many visitors never see. Beneath the beaches, beneath the highways, beneath the communities and cities, there is another Florida, a hidden Florida, a world of ancient water, endless tunnels, and unexplored darkness. And at the center of this hidden world remains Devil's Den, a place where science explains much of what we see, but where mystery still survives. Where science meets legend. The longer you spend inside Devil's Den, the easier it becomes to understand why legends have endured for generations. This is not an ordinary place. Every surface tells a story millions of years in the making. The limestone walls were once part of an ancient seabed that covered much of Florida. Over immense spans of time, seas advanced and retreated, leaving behind thick layers of calcium-rich rock. Rainwater, slightly acidic by nature, slowly dissolved those layers, carving hidden rivers and vast underground chambers. The spring we see today is the result of countless natural processes working together over geological time. Yet nature has a way of creating experiences that feel almost supernatural. As sunlight pours through the opening in the ceiling, it scatters into brilliant shafts of blue and gold. A single ripple can transform those beams into moving shapes. Floating particles drift through the water like tiny stars. From below, the opening to the sky appears almost heavenly, From above, the cave entrance looks like a dark wound in the earth. Sound behaves strangely here as well. Voices bounce off curved limestone walls. Echoes overlap. A whisper from one side of the cavern may seem to originate somewhere entirely different. For first-time visitors, the effect can be startling. Then there is the mist. On cold mornings, warm spring water meets chilly air, creating thick clouds of vapor that spill from the opening above. To early settlers who had no knowledge of groundwater temperatures or geothermal stability, the sight must have been astonishing. Smoke appeared to rise from the earth itself. It is easy to see how the name Devil's Den was born. Science explains the phenomenon, but explanation does not erase wonder. Sometimes, the truth is just as captivating as the legend. The Call of the Unknown. Today, Devil's Den welcomes visitors from around the world. Photographers capture its otherworldly beauty. Snorkelers float peacefully beneath the ancient skylight. Certified scuba divers explore the open cavern, marveling at water so clear it feels almost invisible. The spring is carefully managed, and access is controlled through reservations and established safety rules. Divers are expected to remain within the areas appropriate to their training, and cave diving requires specialized certification far beyond basic scuba instruction. For most visitors, the experience is unforgettable, not because they encounter ghosts, but because they encounter something increasingly rare: silence, stillness, perspective. Standing inside the cavern, it is impossible not to feel small. The rocks surrounding you have witnessed the rise and fall of entire ecosystems. Ice ages have come and gone. Ancient animals drank from these waters. Generations of people have stood where you stand now, asking the same questions. What lies beyond the darkness? What secrets remain hidden beneath the earth? And why are humans so irresistibly drawn toward places we cannot fully explain? Perhaps every haunted location reflects something about ourselves: our curiosity, our imagination, our desire to believe there is always one more mystery waiting to be solved. Devil's Den is a perfect example. It is neither a horror story nor merely a geological landmark. It exists somewhere between science and folklore. Every visitor brings their own interpretation. Some leave amazed by its natural beauty. Others leave convinced they experience something they cannot explain. Neither perspective diminishes the place. If anything, they make it richer. The legend lives on. As evening falls, the last visitors climb the staircase toward daylight. The echoes fade. The surface grows still. The ancient spring returns to silence. Beneath the limestone, water continues its endless journey through Florida's aquifer, just as it has for thousands of years. The fossils remain undisturbed. The rock continues to change, one drop at a time. The mysteries, real and imagined, linger in the darkness. Some visitors will remember the crystal clear water. Others will remember the shafts of sunlight piercing the cavern ceiling. And a few will remember something less tangible, a feeling, an unexplained chill. The sensation that history is not simply something we read about, but something we can stand inside. Perhaps that is the true power of Devil's Den. Not that it proves ghosts exist, not that it hides monsters beneath its waters, but that it reminds us the natural world is still capable of inspiring awe, humility, and mystery. In an age where satellites map our planet and technology places knowledge at our fingertips, places like Devil's Den encourage us to pause, to listen, to wonder. Because sometimes the greatest mysteries are not the ones we solve. They are the ones that continue inviting us back. So the next time you find yourself in the quiet hills of north central Florida and you see mist rising from a hole in the earth, Ask yourself, are you looking at nothing more than warm water meeting cool air? Or are you witnessing the same sight that inspired legends centuries ago? The answer may depend on what you believe. Deep beneath Florida's surface, where ancient water meets timeless stone, Devil's Den keeps its secrets, and perhaps it always will.